Well, Mike Woodson has spoken at Huber's Winery. Mike Woodson talks to the media for the first time since getting all of the recruits coming to Indiana from the transfer portal. We'll talk about what he said on there. Let's get into it.
1 for 3 on the way. Oh!
Hello, guys, and welcome to Indiana Sports Connection. I am your residential anchor, Aaron. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being part of this Indiana Hoosiers and Colts community on here. We talk about the games, we talk about sports with the Indiana Hoosiers and the Colts on here, and I thank you for being here and being part of this Indiana Hoosiers and Colts community on here. So we have a lot to talk about on the show today. So Mike Woodson, he made a press conference afterwards, and he also talked to Don Fisher. He talked to the press for about 15 minutes and kind of told some of the indications on what he thinks this team is going to look like going forward and what he thinks this team is going to do. So we are going to weed through the toothpicks of all of this treacherous stuff that he said and try to make sense of what do we think is going to happen with this team next year. What do we think is going to happen with the Hoosiers, with Mike Woodson as the coach, with all of these new guys coming in? How is he going to mash this all together and make it into something that's going to be really delicious to eat and delicious to watch on TV? He's got all the talent is there, but he's got to be able to put this together in a way that's going to make all the fans out there jump for joy. But if this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button down below, and on the giveaway on the channel today, on the channel at 1,000 subscribers, here is the piece of memorabilia. I thought about a lot of different things. But I will be giving away this commemorative basketball. As you see there, you got all the years that Indiana won the national championship on there. You also have the iconic Indiana logo on there. It's an actual full-size Baden basketball. So this is what I got for the giveaway. You can be the winner of this. Just leave a comment down below on the video that hits 1,000 subscribers, and you will be entered to win that basketball. And I will also be giving away home field apparel at 1,000 subscribers as well. So there will be a dual winner at 1,000 subscribers, but somebody's going to win the basketball and somebody's going to win home field apparel. What do you think about that, Hillbilly Monkey? What do you think about that indeed? I think you cheaped out and got something cheap for somebody. Well, I did not cheap out, and I thought the basketball was a great idea, and it's something somebody could use, or you could put it on a table, you could put it anywhere. It's not like some monstrosity that's going to be hard to ship or something like that. Oh, well, I hope I win. Well, unfortunately, Hillbilly Monkey, you cannot win the basketball. Now, let's get into talking about the Indiana Hoosiers. All right, thank you so much for joining me, and let's get right into all the stuff that Mike Woodson said during his press conference at Huber's Winery. Let's get right into some of the first clips. Some of the first things he talked about was what bringing in Carlisle and Rice, how that changes things, and what the process was. Let's roll that first clip. Hillbilly Monkey, let's roll it.
With the addition of the dynamic ability that Miles Rice and Keenan Carlisle have, what are some things that may bring to you that can enhance your offense or grow your offense, or just things that are in your wheelhouse now that maybe might not have been there without two guys with that dynamic ability?
Well, you think about our guard play over the last 3 years, and it's no knock. I mean, we had guys like X and Finnessy, and we couldn't keep anybody healthy, number one. And I've learned in this short period of time that I've been in college, you win with good guard play. It's great to have big guys that can play and do the things that we've had over the last 3 with our bigs that we've coached. But you win with perimeter and guard play, good guard play. And that was something that we came out of this past season, not having X, the games that he missed, that we had to really amp up our backcourt and get better, and I thought we've done that.
So you can see Woodson the injuries definitely have affected the team. Rob Finney, his first year here, and then having Xavier Johnson hurt in his second year. And some of this stuff, I guess we did kind of forget. The injuries are definitely have plagued the Hoosiers at the guard position. Now let's roll the next clip of what Mike Woodson had to say about the team. Let's roll that clip.
Mike, you talk about it being a busy summer, but you guys were able to fill a lot of spots, a lot of needs. How does it feel going into the season knowing you have a lot of depth at many different positions?
Well, we had no choice. You know, we had guys that left. We had guys that graduated. That's the new norm now, guys. I mean, this is not like the Bob Knight days where you could build your team over 3-4 years and trust the process. You know, our process now is changing every year because you don't know who's coming and who's going. And it was a busy summer because we had to fill a lot of holes. Based on who left and the guys that graduated. So it was a busy summer.
One thing I want to say, I mean, it should be obvious to everybody that you're not going to build a team today in 2024 like Bob Knight did in the 70s and 80s. It's just not going to happen. It would have been the same if Bob Knight would have tried to do it in the 2000s, 2010s. It's just not the same way as it was back then. So I always hate coaches saying the most cliche, stupid comments that really provide you with no information. Like, no doubt, like you're not going to do it like how Bob Knight did it, you know, no doubt. And then he went on to say like how he's building the team a little bit like his old teams. And we're going to talk about then the types of players that Mike Woodson needs to be successful. Let's roll that clip.
You're talking about guard play. You're talking about guys that can go create their own shot or create shots for their teammates or control the tempo. What are you looking for from your guards?
Well, you know, I mean, I tried to build our team around how I played a little bit in New York. We had guys like Jason Kidd and Raymond Felton and Pablo Prigioni, guys that can create and make plays not only for themselves but for their teammates. And that was one of the things when we sat down after the season in terms of evaluating players that entered the portal. That was going to be an emphasis on players that we brought back here from a perimeter standpoint. And these two guys are capable of making plays off the bounce. They're capable of making plays for their teammates, and they're capable of putting the ball in the hole. So, and they're young players, you know. I mean, if things don't go big and according to plan, they,
so you can see he gets like a little bit of a smile on his face, and he goes, no, the kinds of teams I used to have with Jason Kidd, that was 1 year in New York when he had Jason Kidd, and he ran the show. That's the type of player that Mike Woodson needs to be successful at Indiana. He needs players that really take the bull by the horns, are going to take it amongst themselves to be the leaders on the team and to make the right decisions for the team down the stretch. What he's not as a coach, Mike Woodson is not a guy that goes out there, looks for specific pieces, and tries to put those specific pieces into a puzzle that he already knows the pieces he's looking for. What Mike Woodson does is he goes out there and just looks for really talented pieces. Like, they're not really pieces that he thinks are going to fit into a system that he's created. He just thinks these pieces are talented. How can they play together? That's practically just how he does it. I mean, that's the player's coach way. Is this going to work? That is going to be really determined by these players. I mean, is Miles Rice a vocal leader? Is Kanan Carlisle a vocal leader? Can these guys play Mike Woodson's style of defense and communicate with each other? And then, are they able to create shots for themselves? We've seen the people that really flourish in a system like what Mike Woodson runs are people like Jalen Hood-Schifino. He had really great dribbling skills. He had great shooting skills, and he could get his own shot off. He was a decent enough passer to help the entire team. That's the type of player that we need Miles Rice to be. If he comes out, if him and Carlisle come out and they don't do these things, like really just take the bull by the horns type attitude, and they're the kind of players that maybe want to be coached more, then we're not going to have success. I mean, that's just what I think of Mike Woodson's coaching style. Like, I don't think if Gabe Cupps came in and he's a little bit like not ready to take that step, like Mike Woodson is not the coach that's going to catapult him and give him the confidence to be that guy. Like the guys who come in and play for Mike Woodson, they already have to like be that guy coming in. He's not going to make them turn into the guy that we want them to become. That's why, like this year, Cupps never got more comfortable shooting, and he was never really given the green light because he wasn't the guy coming in, and he wasn't going to become that guy under Mike Woodson. That's all I've seen from the players that have played for Mike Woodson. If Miles Rice, he could be the guy already, and we already know that Oumar Ballo, he's already like the guy. Then he went on, he did talk a little bit about Mackenzie Mgbako and the workouts that he's doing with some NBA guys in California. Let's play a little bit of that clip.
Man, you guys were down on him early, man, when he was struggling. And it's a process, man. You think because the guy wears a 5-star, 4-star, that they can come into college and tear it up. It's not that easy. It's no different than going from college to the NBA, man. It's a learning curve. I don't give a shit how good you are. You have to learn. And it was a learning curve for him. It was an eye-opener for him because he did struggle early, but he just kept working and working and working, and he got better. And I can't help but think he's going to continue to get better. I got to push him. He's been working his butt off this summer. They've been all over the place. He's been out in L.A. playing with a bunch of NBA guys and working on his craft there with people that we know that can help him do some of the things that we already have taught him. So I can't help but think he'll come back this year and make another step, which we need.
So Mgbako getting some good work in, he could become like the guy himself over the summer and transcend this team. You could even see Mgbako last year, how confused he was at the beginning. He almost like got completely derailed by being coached by Mike Woodson, in my opinion. And then his last clip, he talks a little bit about some of the lineups and whether or not they're going to spread the floor with more shooters, and that's what we really wanted to hear. So let's play that clip.
In the same breath, you bring back Mackenzie, you add Bryson Tucker, Luke Goody. Can you also see a world where maybe matchup dependent, you can go with lineups to spread the floor a little bit more, whether it's, I don't know if you want to call it one big and wings, but just being able to...
Absolutely, and just like I played in New York, I just haven't been able to get there. And I think we can this year. Based on what we brought in, we can play smaller a little bit with Mac and Goody probably playing some 4. Even the big fella, I'm going to try to play 2 bigs. I mean, just to test it and see. You just never know. With that, he can make 3s. So we just got to, I just got to wait these 8 weeks, man, of summer play. Will kind of shape where we are as a ball club and give me some kind of indication of going into next season.
But Mike Woodson, he cannot be all in on shooting. He says they're going to spread the floor and they're going to do this, and then because everybody knows this is what he's going to do anyway, play 2 bigs at the same time. Ballo and Renew are going to start at the same time. Now, whether or not he's smart enough to know that like Ballo can only play about 25 minutes a game, maybe more. Can he get on more of a rotational basis with some of these guys where you have Renew playing with some smaller lineups and you have Ballo playing with some smaller lineups that can shoot the ball? Because if both of those guys are going to be primary, down low, back to the basket, ball in their hands type of guys. And I've heard him say whether or not Renew can make that next step and like take shots further away from the basket. I don't think Renew is ever going to be really a knockdown shooter. He doesn't really have even a jump shot. You can't even really compare his game to like Calbert Cheaney's. If Renew could play like Calbert Cheaney, then you'd have a totally different thing on your hands there, but you don't. He really has to play around the basket. I've seen one guy leaving a comment all the time saying, whose ridiculous idea is it that Ballo and Renew can't play together? Well, I think people just want to see something different because we've been watching this same two big lineup for so long with Jackson Davis, Race Thompson, and Jackson Davis. So I think people just want to see something different. We've seen this for like 8 years, practically, it seems. Bad guard play and playing guys down low. It's just never worked for Indiana. We got to get to shooting from the outside and getting guys open to take shots. That's what's going to make the biggest difference. But there is a lot to break down in this video and what Mike Woodson had to say. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Indiana Sports Connection. Until
these days, I think cybersecurity is now as important as physical security. That's why when I'm online, I use NordVPN. NordVPN uses next generation encryption to keep my passwords and data safe, which is especially important when I'm traveling and I'm on public Wi-Fi, which is more vulnerable to hacking. I'm sure a lot of you are going to be traveling for the holidays this summer. Use NordVPN, one account that will protect all your devices and computers. And with their 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to lose.